Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach, coming here for another love circle. And today we are talking about life beyond fear. Now, almost every single one of us, if you are in a physical body, if you're here, we have experienced fear, and fears have stopped us from being a true, authentic self. Fears have maybe, held us back in the dreams that we want to pursue. But what I want to talk about today is how would life look like beyond fear? What is that existence? What is that dimension? Who could you be if there's no fear? So that is what I want to start with. And then I'll be also sharing with you how maybe you can get there and what is the pathway? How can you navigate that way of being, of existing? So first of all, I want you to just take a moment and look at all the fears that you have in your life. Whatever things that you already know that are holding you back, it could be fear of being alone and you're stuck in a difficult relationship that you know is not good for you, or in a work environment, or people that you're holding on to that you very well know are not good for you, but you rather be with them than be alone. Fear of losing everything. What are those fears that are holding you back, that are limiting you? And in the next moment, just ask yourself, how could life be if they are gone? Who could you be if fear is not holding you back? If you start living in a world where no fear ever holds you back, what would you do then? Are you going to go out and share your message with the world in a big way? Are you going to help more people? Are you really going to love yourself more? Are you finally going to say yes to something that you've been saying no to? Are you going to go and write a book? What your life would look like? Who would you inspire? Who would you become? Now hold on to that, because that is the dimension, or that is the timeline, or that is the existence of way of being. I'm going to show you how to get there. And once again, whatever I teach it by learning, implementing, experimenting, sharing it with my clients, seeing results. And then that is when I come here and I share with you all so you can do DIY style till you're ready to work with me and you can start shifting your life right there and then. I can tell you, when I started my self development journey back in 2015, the very first time I walked into the therapist office and she asked me to write down all my fears, there was a huge list. And the biggest one was fear of being alone, fear of dying alone, fear of growing up being alone. Those were the biggest fears. And to avoid those fears, I was making decisions in my life. I was holding on to things that were hurting. It's almost like holding on to the coal that is burning your hand, but you don't want to let go. That is the beauty of fear. It just feels so safe to hold on to it. And once I learned how to release that, how to let go, who can I become, how to deal with fear, I became such a different version of me that today, the version of me that exists, if the Alia from 2015 walked into this reality, she would not believe it's her developed. Even sometime I don't believe that this is who I can be. And what is deep down is letting go of the fear, giving myself permission to live beyond fear. In fact, I can tell you, in the past 2 months, I have shocked myself. I had no idea I could move through the things that I've been able to move through in my life without letting fear control me. We do have somebody entering into the room with us. I'm just going to take a moment and allow that person to let in. And also, I'll be changing my profile to pin it. So just hold on a couple of seconds before I do that. Okay. So let me just pin my profile. So now it's would be recording only my screen and not the person who just joined. Thank you so much for joining us. We started a little bit early. I'm a little bit already into the conversation that I was talking about how in the past 2 months I have um, shocked myself in terms of the fears that I've been able to move beyond. And the fears that you can move beyond is mind blowing. That opportunity is there for you. So now let's get into how we actually do that. How do you deal with this monster that lives in your mind all day long called fear? The first thing we want to understand about fear, it's a feeling, it's a frequency, it's a vibration. It does not come from your conscious mind, it comes from your unconscious mind. That is the feeling mind. What does that even mean? Unconscious mind is the programmable part of you. That means if fear lives there right now, you can program it to something else. And also, that fear got in there between the age of 0 to 7. So, if right now you feel like you're afraid of heights, you're afraid of other human, you're afraid of yourself, that was plugged in there between the age of 0 to 7. So, whatever you're going through right now in terms of your fear, they come from your childhood. Another aspect about that fear is it gets triggered by something. It could be a thought, it could be trigger outside of you, it could be music, it could be a situation. I can tell you in the past 3 months, all my past fears came blowing up in my face. And whatever I'm going to share with you, that's exactly how I dealt with them, and they did not stop me. So when the fear comes, because unconscious mind is also your whole body. So when fear comes, forget about your conscious being. Forget about who you think you are at work. Forget about how confident you are. Forget about how put together you are, how successful you are. Unconscious mind is going to take over. You might be having a panic attack, or you might be like, I'm just frozen. I just want to run away. I don't want to deal with this situation. I I am just getting out of there. And later on, you're just like, well, I'm not usually that person. The reason there's a disconnect, fear is the unconscious part of you. It's going to do things to you that the conscious adult that you are, you're not going to connect with that. You'll be like, why did I become like that? Why couldn't I speak in that moment? Why did I freeze? Why couldn't I even think of what to say? The more you understand that the fear is the unconscious part of you, the more consciously you can overcome it. Because what I'm going to share with you is how to consciously move beyond it. It's just like you're walking through a path and there's a big pile of puddle in there. Let's say you're on a hiking trail and there's a big puddle. Being conscious, you know that you can go around, you can hop over it, you can, pull up your pants and go in a way where you don't get too dirty. That is being conscious. What would be unconscious? That is what kids do. They are going to jump into the puddle, not thinking how dirty their shoes will get, and they'll keep moving. That is usually our unconscious mind works. So consciously, you can move through it. Another aspect I want to share before we get into how we do it is there's three parts to fear. Fight, the way we react to it, fight, flight, freeze. Fight is anger. And you get frustrated, you're angry, you want to just punch everybody in the face. When you're feeling that, you're actually dealing with fear. Fear has taken over you. When you are in the flight mode, what is flight mode? Putting things off for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow. You are resisting something. You're resisting facing a fear in that situation. Another way fear manifests a lot these days, our reactive way with the fear is traveling. So if you're somebody who's looking for a traveling job, who's traveling all the time, you're barely home, what is it that you're so afraid of? And of course, right now we say like, that is my lifestyle. That is who I am. I just cannot sit in one place. Um, Traveling helps me expand. All wonderful things. We all are supposed to expand. Only you can tell yourself if you're lying there or if you're being truthful. A lot of people who are traveling all over the place, sometimes they are just running away from a fear. They don't want to deal with something within them, within their household, within their life. Sometimes they just hate the job they are at. So what they do every 3 months, they travel somewhere. So these are all the aspects that exist. You don't have to change them right now, but once you become aware, you can take back the power that it takes from you. The last one is freeze. That is when we feel lazy. That is when we feel stuck. That is when we go into, I just want to stay here and watch Netflix for next 8 hours. The reason we want to look at these aspects, because, sometimes fear is not going to be like, oh my God, I'm too afraid to go out. This is how it shows up. You'll feel angry. You'll feel frustrated. You will feel like you just want to run away. You will feel like you just don't want to do anything. You just want to sleep all day. If you excessively sleep and there's no health reason for doing that, you just want to sleep all day long, most likely there's a fear that you're not facing. Now, when we are navigating, going through fear, there would be 5 things that I'll be sharing with you. It's very important to understand that there is a physical fear where you're really afraid of your life. And there are parts of the world where that is a very much present reality all day long. For most of us living in the Western world, if you're sitting in your home and you have a security system in your home, that's not really the case. Unless you're walking through an alley in downtown at the end at midnight. Of course, physical fear, be mindful of that. What we are talking about is psychological fear. It's that invisible tiger that is chasing you all day long, and your body, your nervous system does not feel comfortable. It feels like I'm running, I'm running, I'm running, but there's no resting. That is how your nervous system feels when you are living with this big giant fear in your psychology that you're not taking time to unpack. If we unpack it, there's no fear, or fear cannot control you, or you can live in a way where you're one step above fear. And that is what I'll be showing you now. In terms of understanding, when we pay attention to our inner voice, who's talking in my head? Who's telling me, I think you're going to fail? I think it's not going to work out. What if this happened? What if that happened? Whose voice is that? When we pay attention to the inner voice, there is voice of fear. Generally, that is the physical fear. The voice is saying, hey, don't jump off of the cliff. I think you're going to get hurt. But a big chunk of the voice that lives within us is voice of others. That is the voice of mom, dad, society, religion, conditioning, the world. Right now, we are all connected globally. Whatever you watched on Instagram, whatever the next influencer is saying, those are all the voices that are getting, that are blocking the space in your head. The third one is voice of your soul. In the process that I'm going to share with you, what we are going to do is detect the voice. Generally, it's going to be voice of others, and switch it to listening to voice of your soul. That's all you have to do, my friend, and you can live a life that is beyond fear. And personally, living there, I can tell you, life is so much more beautiful. There's so much more freedom. And just being able to do what you really want to do as a human in this world, it has a very different flavor that no degree, no amount of money, or no amount of relationships or love can ever buy for you. This is something you do within you. This is an internal experience. So let's get into that. Um, the first thing we are going to look at is fear exists so you can feel safe. Now, you might say, okay, Alia, that doesn't even make sense. I'm afraid because I don't feel safe. Now, think of your mind as a room, right? If 90% of it is occupied by fear, let's say a dark cloud, and it's been there since you were, let's say, 0 to 7, who knows, maybe you adopted it at 6 months old or maybe at 6.5 years old, no matter whenever you adopted it. And pretty sure if you're watching it, at least you're 2 or 3 plus decade minimum on this planet, and you've been living with that dark cloud. It feels it's yours. It's just like, like I can tell you when I put on this bracelet or when I put on this bracelet, for the first few hours or the first few days, I was like, what is it? What is it? There's something on my body. But now my body doesn't even recognize I'm wearing something. It has just kind of become part of me. So that 90% of the dark cloud that is in that room called mind, it's occupying space for such a long time that it gives you certainty, it gives you safety, and you don't want to let go. It's not that the fear doesn't want to let go of you. You don't want to let go because you don't know what you will see if this dark cloud is gone. That is the unknown. You don't know who you'll become if there's nothing stopping you. That is the unknown. And that unknown feels unknown. So what we hold on to, I'm so afraid of talking in front of people. I'm so afraid of speaking my truth. I'm so afraid of being in a relationship. I'm so afraid of going for a different job or a different degree. We hold on to that. It gives you safety. It gives you control. So when you are so busy saying all the bad things about your fear, also recognize how it has helped you feel safe and how you are okay feeling safe in its presence. This is, my friend, is called being honest with ourselves. Most of us, we are lying to ourselves all day long. We are telling ourselves we want to get rid of our fear while we feel so safe with our fear. We don't want to let it go. Now, if you are coming to that realization, oh my God, yes, I do use my fears as my crutch. Now realize that the safety and the control that you look for through fear doesn't even exist. The truth is, there's no safety. There's no safety in the physical experience. Anything can happen anytime. And that might just scramble your brain a little bit. I'll take you a step further. So, where can you really find safety? So this is point one of going beyond and living a life beyond fear. The point one is realizing, recognizing you're safe in the presence of your soul. You're safe as the divine being that you are. As your physical self, there's no safety. Anything can happen anytime. Literally, anything can happen anytime. That is the nature of the physical world. So now, instead of holding on to this fear, hold on to, I'm a divine being, the light that is within you. Every time fear shows up, you're like, I'm so afraid of being in front of people. I'm so afraid of letting go of this relationship. I'm so afraid of this. I know my light. I know my light can do it. I know that I am a divine being outside of this body. As your safety moves towards your divinity, and the next point will tie it together. When you become safe in your divinity and realizing, you know what is happening? The 90% that was covered with the darkness and the 10% that was light, now the light is pushing the darkness out. And pretty soon, 90% would be like, I'm a divine being, and soul can never be hurt. Soul can never be killed. Soul can never be hurt or mocked or none of that. I can tell you, again, sharing a little bit of personal journey, I will say about 7 weeks ago, I was going through one of the most difficult week of my life. And there were so many things I wanted to do out of reaction, and I was holding myself back to not react. And there was fear of abandonment, and there were words coming at me. There were things spoken at me, spoken to me, that one day I realized that none of this can ever hurt my soul. No one can take a piece of my soul. And once I anchored in that awareness, in that consciousness, all those things stopped bothering me. All of a sudden, I didn't want anyone to be a certain way. I was able to accept them because in that moment, I realized I am safe as the soul that I am. This is such a powerful consciousness. If you can just embody that, I can guarantee you no fear will be able to control you anymore. And if this is something you want to work on, work through, you can always reach out to me. I would love to be your guide, and I would love to help you get to a version of you where fear doesn't control you, because that is where you truly get to see who you are in your beautiful existence, who you are with that 90% darkness occupying the mind of the room of your mind. You're not going to really live much of a human. You are going to live with your an animalistic survival mode, but not really as a human, the highest creation ever created that we know of. Not really that. So let's move into the second one. And that is start hanging out with your soul. My friend, there's no more no more emphasis I can put on it that how powerful this thing is, and it's the easiest way to do it. Now, what is hanging out with your soul? Just close your eyes, sit with yourself, and feel your soul around you. Feel that power that keeps you alive. Feel it moving through your body, feel it being around you, feel it giving you energy, the breath, the heartbeat, and everything that goes on. Just feel it, acknowledge it. When you start building a relationship with that non-physical part of you, you finally start to realize the illusion that all that you think you are is. You think you're a very fearful person? Not true, my friend. You're not. You're extremely courageous person. But how would you know that if you never discover who you are in your truth? And the soul is your true self, not the rebellious, the outspoken, the one who wants to go and correct everybody. Sometimes we think that is our true self. No, my friend, that is your ego. That is still your conditioned ego. Your true self is pure light. It's already one with everybody. It already loves everybody. That is who you are in your true existence. When you start hanging out with that part of you, that is when you start to feel safe. So it ties to point one. That is when you start to feel safe. For me personally, when nothing works, when talking to me doesn't work, self-compassion doesn't work, I just close my eyes and I hang out with my soul. And I always come back to the center. Oh my God, that is who I am, not this. I am judging the other person. I want them to change. They are a soul just like me. Right now, they are helping me see something within me. I come to my center much faster, but it did not happen overnight. It's going to take you time to start building that relationship. The most precious gift you can give to yourself in a physical human experience in this lifetime is hang out with your soul, get to know your soul, talk to your soul, let yourself hear your soul. My personal biggest decisions that I have ever taken in my life have been guided by my soul. I just close my eyes and I'm like, what do you want me to do? I go with that. Not listening to the voice of others, not listening to the voice of fear. That is how you can make this life experience so powerful and limitless. So the first one is recognizing your safeties in your divinity. Second is hang out with your soul. The third one is making your breath your anchor point. When you are going through spinning of the fear is like, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if that happened? You know what is happening? Your energy is spreading out. It's getting all over. You know, when we use that thing, I am all over the place today. Yes, you really are. You're not anchored. You're not focused. You're not one pointed. This human experience is all about being able to focus our energy. Only then you'll achieve something. Otherwise, you're just going to live a very random life, But if you really want to share your light with other human being, share with the world, and that is what we are here for, it does require focus. How you're going to bring focus very quickly. Focus on your inhale and exhale. And at the same time, let's pair it with part 2 and part 1 that we talked about. Soul is coming into you, soul is exiting, coming into you, exiting, divinity coming into you, leaving, coming, leaving. When you will just stay focused here, all of a sudden, all your energy come here. And that big fear, all of a sudden won't have any impact on you. Because as you're focusing on your breath, there's so many things that are happening that I want to share with you. Because being in the present moment, your heart is opening, because your heart is opening your solar plexus chakra. That is the chakra that is responsible for all the turmoil of your emotions, is also getting balanced. When heart opens, um, your solar plexus chakra cannot run around like a crazy toddler. It comes in check too. It's like, oh my God, somebody's watching. I better behave. It's almost like that. It is so fascinating how our energy body responds to one center opening and how the other center open. Just by focusing on your breath. I'm not talking about do box breathing, do this breathing, do that breathing. Of course, that is a whole science that you can delve into. You can see how that will calm your nervous system. But right now, I'm just talking about bringing your focus from whatever is bothering you and breathing. And you will be creating magic in your life just by focusing on your breath. If you spend most of your day staying focused on your breath, I can guarantee you no fear will be able to control you, because now you're focused here. You're not focused about what will happen. Fear is always about what if this happened. When you're not even in the what if, when you're here in this moment, it will lose its power over you. The third one, now we talked about the spiritual aspect of it. We talked about the energetical aspect of it. Now let's talk about the psychological aspect of it. So that is number 4 and number 5. Every fear has a lie in it. If you can catch the lie, no fear can ever control you. So now let's say the fears that I started with when I walked into the therapist's office for the first time, that I'm going to die alone. Is that true? Can I be absolutely 100% sure it's true? No, I can't. That's a lie. What is the truth? The truth is, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. And I just wanted to share very quickly. I am in the process of my first book launch, and it's been submitted, should be out tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow there is a 72 mark, so it should be out and available tomorrow. And this is one of the fear. There's a whole chapter on fear, and this is one of the fear I talk about. And the truth is, I don't even know if that is how long I'm going to live. If my body is going to get to the old age, that is first thing. And the second thing, I can create a different reality as long as I focus on what do I want. So if you can find the lie in a fear, it's almost like you took a pin and you popped the balloon. Fear is like balloon. It gets bigger, 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 bigger. That's what the lie does. The energy of the lie is it can go so far, but it has no substance to it. Truth has substance to it. Truth feels solid. Lie is empty. So when you just poke that question in it, it deflates. So ask yourself, what is your biggest fear? And what is the lie in it? The key is to be able to detect the lie and just ask yourself, what is the truth? Most of the time, the truth would be, I have no idea. Because that is what the reality of our physical life is. I want to get to place X. Will I get there? I don't know. But today, being here in this moment, I'm putting my full effort into it to get there, because this is the only moment I can control. I'll share with you when I was working on my fears with my mentor. Um, this is one of the bracelet that he sent us, and I wore it for almost a month to question every single thought that will come in my mind. And I'll just ask myself, what is the truth in this? What is the truth in this? At that time, the prominent theme in my mind was you're a failure, you're a loser. And I kept asking myself, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? And I can tell you 4 years later, right now, that thought rarely comes because I have asked myself so many times, what is the truth in this? That the room has been emptied out from that dark cloud that lived in there. It still visits. Fear will always visit you, but you will be one step above it. That is how you'll be able to go beyond and live a life that is beyond fear. The last point is fear is always looking for safety and certainty. I just want to know what's happening next. And I can tell you from my personal experience, I think I'm one of those people I know of who have the biggest fears ever. And the way my mind used to work, if I am in today, my mind is thinking what's happening tomorrow, where I'll be tomorrow, but most importantly, where I'll be next year. If it's my birthday, I'll be already thinking, like all day, I'll be thinking what will be happening next year around this time. My energy was always all over the place. The more I recognize how it's being pulled, the more inner work that I did. Today, I get to be in this moment, but how I got there, the truth is we don't know. Even if you look at your astrological chart and being a metaphysical student, I do study like, astrology, the way like, sun and moon and all the stars move and how they impact on your specific existence. But the truth is, you never know. We can look at everything, we can take everything in account, but the truth is, there is an aspect of our existence that would always be off limits for us. That is where trust comes. That is where trust in life, trust in creator, trust in ourselves, trust in other people will come. For example, starting a new relationship. I just got into a new relationship, almost been married for a month. We saw each other, we liked each other, we found that alignment, we came together. But there is no guarantee what will happen tomorrow. Yes, I can be the conscious creator and I can create that. I can put my focus. This is how I want my life to look like. But no one can give me guarantee how they will be 10 years from today because even they don't know. Even I don't know. When you become okay not knowing even who you are, who other people are, but you trust that they will be good to you. You trust that you'll be good to yourself. You'll be good to other people. That is the driving force for life, not fear. Fear does come, it controls us, it wants to limit us. But when you start leaning into, so the opposite of fear, looking, depending on what you're looking at, it could be love, it could be faith, it could be trust, depending on what area and what outcome you're looking for. But the most important thing to realize is we don't know the future, and it's okay. You can trust that whatever next moment is will be the most beautiful moment. Life, one of the universal law is life is always moving for more, and you're always going in a better and better and better direction. Now, look at your life, follow these five elements. You can say points, or you can say set of consciousness, and see how you can live beyond fear as the unlimited being that you are. And if this is something you're ready to work through and you want to live as your limitless and fearless self, you could always reach out to me. Send me a DM, go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com. You can book a consultation with me, and I would love to be your guide on this beautiful journey we call life. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.